So hopefully there'll be some more people joining. It's 11:02. I'll just give it a minute or two and then I'll go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and at least pull up the agenda here. I see a few more people popping in. So the agenda for today is, first off, kind of an overview of kind of what is a cloud POS for people that are unfamiliar with it, although most people are in today's world. And then some of the benefits. I picked 5. These are kind of the ones that I feel are important. There's a lot of benefits of a cloud point of sale system or a cloud-based solution in general. But I tried to pick the 5 that seem to make the most sense for merchants and users of point of sale systems. And then I do have one slide on the Cloud POS cloud architecture. It's something I threw together today, but I did want to kind of point out just a couple of things that we do with it. So I'll walk you through that without getting into too much detail. And then I like to cover a little bit about Sound POS and the value props and make sure that we understand, what it is that, why we're in business with this solution, who it's targeted at, and what the benefits are for those ISOs that resell it and then the merchants that use it. And then I also do with our cloud, it's the back office cloud portal. And I'm going to actually log in so that you can see what it looks like. And I'll do a quick overview. I'm not going to go a deep dive demo. There's a lot to it. And we have separate training webinars for that. We have training videos. So if there's interest, we can take you through that much, much deeper. But I'll just give you a quick overview and show you what it looks like and some of the things that that are inside of our cloud. And then lastly, we'll open it up for Q&A. I'm going to try to keep this to 30 minutes. Doug Berman, one of my regional VPs, is monitoring the chat line. And if you have any questions, you can either wait to the end or throw them on the chat line. Doug will go through them at the end, and we'll try to save 5 or 10 minutes for Q&A, and hopefully we'll have some interaction. So let's go ahead and jump in. So basically, cloud POS, the cloud is really, it really means the internet. I mean, that's really what it is. And cloud-based systems basically use the internet to access the software and data. It's all stored remotely in data centers rather than on a hard drive or a server locally in the store. And the technology is not, really new. I mean, there's been client server systems out there for ages that were basically cloud systems, but without the speed and the size and use of the internet, they weren't really accessible. So you had to have everything locally. With the internet and the ability to share physical servers and the connectivity and the speed of it, it really allowed those client server systems to become cloud systems. And out of that was created a whole new business where there are several companies providing cloud computing that actually do offer the data centers to store the data and the software and the services. Some of those are listed here on this slide. Amazon Web Services happens to be the one that we use at Sound Payments, but the other ones are just as good. Microsoft Azure, Oracle Cloud, even IBM Computing. And the key thing with the cloud POS is basically everything is hosted for you. So your cloud point of sale provider will host the data for you. The software will be in the cloud. There's no need for local devices, and that kind of gets into some of the benefits of the cloud POS. And the last thing, I just want to kind of mention that there are different levels of cloud POS solutions. They kind of all get lumped in under that umbrella of cloud POS, but all of them use the internet, all of them use cloud computing technology, but you may have a cloud POS system that has an Android device on the front end where there's a local point of sale application and it's accessing the cloud for all of its remote storage and accessibility and data so that it can be consistent across the business. There's also cloud POS solutions that are completely cloud um, native. Those typically will have the software and the services running in the cloud, and all you need is a browser and an internet connection, and you can be up and running. So there's kind of different flavors of cloud POS, but for all intents and purposes, they all have the same kind of architecture and benefits that go with them. So and again, these are the five that I felt were appropriate, and especially with our solution where it fits really into that small to medium business. These things are kind of critical to those types of merchants that are looking to use a point of sale system. And those five are accessibility, security, affordability, scalability, and upkeep. And I'll go through each one of them, not in super detail, but I'll talk a little bit about them. And then at the end, if you got questions or if you've got your own thoughts on cloud POS, I'd love to get your insight. So accessibility, this one to me is probably the biggest advantage because everything is stored in the internet, in the cloud, on remote servers. It's accessible anywhere from any device at any time. All you need is an internet connection and a browser to log in, and you can look at your data, check inventory from point of sale systems. You obviously have inventory. You can change configurations, users, pull report. I mean, everything. You can run your business from anywhere, and that's probably the most important thing about a cloud system. And again, the internet being ubiquitous allows this to happen. And also, cloud POS systems are constantly syncing. They're all, they're real time. So your data, when you look at it, when you access it, it's current. If you just sold an item, it's going to get updated in the cloud. You're going to see that item is sold. So that's really, features that were, prior times were very expensive to have for point of sale systems. But now they're available to everyone through these cloud type solutions. And also a lot of the modern cloud solutions, they're compatible with tablets and mobile devices. That's really another key feature, which not only gives you accessibility, but it gives you mobility as well. So you can be mobile in the store, you can go outside the store, anywhere, as long as there's an internet connection, you can use those devices. So that's, to me, is probably the top benefit of a cloud solution. Another one is data security, and this one is also very important too, especially with cloud POS or in any POS. Not only are you running a cash register, but you're also running a payment system, and with payments, you're accepting card data, and it's important to protect all the information, not just the card data, but all the information. And the fact that you're not storing anything locally, everything's stored up in the cloud and these cloud providers' data centers, you don't have to worry about breaches, you don't have to worry about loss, you don't have to worry about backing your system up in case your system crashes or the hardware malfunctions. All of that's done at the cloud provider's data center. And all of these cloud providers have very sophisticated systems. They're secure, many, many levels of redundancy. These are huge, huge data centers, and obviously operated by very large corporations. So you get access to all of that by having and using a cloud POS system. So data security is definitely important. Another one is affordability. When you look at the cost of, and you go back a few years, I go back a few years and look at the point of sale systems of old, and you had to get a server and a front end system, and they were very, very expensive. And today with the cloud, because you can, you don't need to buy all that equipment up front, they're much, much lower cost. And most of the cloud-based systems, probably all of them, are really SaaS-based. So there's monthly subscription rates, and so there's no licensing and annual fees. All of that's included in the monthly subscription. So really, it really makes these systems, these very sophisticated systems, very affordable to the small merchant, or really to any business. Another benefit that I think is important is the scalability. And that is the, cloud solutions, because they are located, in the cloud, you can scale them very easily. And really, and what's nice about when they're scaled, they're all running the same software. They're all accessing the same data. So it's consistent across your business. In the old days, when you went to roll out and add stores and locations, it was very hard to keep your systems all consistent, your data consistent. With a cloud system, because everything's accessing a central location, they're already consistent and they're already running the same software. So the scalability is incredible. And also the monthly subscription model makes it really easy to either increase to the number of devices or even reduce. God forbid you have to reduce, but look at what's going on out in today's environment, with businesses are shuttered just because they don't have any choice. And for those businesses, they can actually reduce their costs, and deactivate some devices and turn them back on when they come back online. So scalability is another top benefit that cloud POS systems have over traditional. And the last one I have is upkeep, and that one is kind of goes hand in hand with cloud POS, because the software is running in the cloud, and the providers don't have to worry about getting software out into the field and keeping versions control and on individual devices. They can update their software continually, and so most do. So you see frequent upgrades and updates of the software. And the nice thing about the applications, they always have the latest updates, so users automatically get access to new features and enhancements just by logging in. So it's an incredible benefit on the upkeep side. And also, for those cloud applications that have an app running on a local device, like with our Sound POS, we have a back end cloud, and we have a front end. There's actually software running on the Android devices. For those apps, they're easily updated using remote software management systems, so they kind of go hand in hand. But the key thing is all of these services are at no additional cost to the user. Everything's built into that monthly subscription price. So not only is the upkeep done more often and more conveniently, but the cost is built in. So again, I think that's another huge benefit of a cloud POS. So that kind of covers all of those five. It looks like I'm about halfway through the time here. We'll talk a little bit about at the end if anyone else has any ideas about the benefits. But I did want to kind of talk a little bit about how we've architected Sound POS, and some of us call it Sound POS, some call it Sound POS. It's kind of just whatever you really want to call it. We accept both. So this is a little archaic. I threw this together this morning, but what I wanted to show was our Sound POS solution runs on the PAX devices, and that's a picture of a PAX E700. But in these PAX devices, these are all in their Android solutions. There's actually two devices in one. There's that little screen on the front, the right side there is actually a payment terminal. And the bigger screen on the left is actually an Android tablet. And the nice thing about the architecture is that from the payments perspective, it's a semi-integrated architecture where the Android tablet actually talks to that payments terminal, just like you would a standalone or a separate device. So what that allows is all the payment applications reside there. It's a PCI certified device. It's totally tamper resistant. It's end-to-end encryption through the payment processor. EMV is encapsulated. It's all certified. And so no data, no PCI sensitive data flows back in through the system. It stays all between the processor and that payment device. And what's nice about that is it allows the merchant to use the SAC-B IP questionnaire for PCI compliance, which shortens their PCI compliance drastically. So it's just like as if they had a semi-integrated or standalone payment device. Their compliance is simple. That's huge for these small merchants that can't afford to have consultants and whatnot to pay for their PCI compliance. They just fill out these self questionnaires and they're done. The other thing of this kind of little diagram here just kind of shows our cloud is kind of two parts. So we have what we call our seamless commerce back office is actually our cloud. We just call it the seamless commerce back office. That's the name of it. And that's the portal. And I'm going to show you, a quick peek at that portal. But that's where all the configuration, the data is stored. You can log into there and look at your reports. Everything is stored up, and that's up in our cloud. And again, we use Amazon Web Services for that. But then there's also a component, because we leverage the PAX devices, the remote software management stuff is all done out of the PAX store. And PAX has some really nice tools for updating software, remotely managing software. You can actually go in and take control of your devices remotely. So there's a lot of nice features between the, in the cloud. In the cloud, like anything through the internet, that you can get to multiple parts of the cloud. And then all the other features of a Cloud POS apply. The real-time data access, secure cloud storage. And the last thing I have here is just, I wanted to point out that when we developed Sound POS, we developed it using the cloud technology. It's not an old system. It's not a traditional system that was wrapped in Java wrappers or newer wrappers to allow it to run in the cloud. It was actually written in native cloud technology language, so that the key thing there is we can expand and we're flexible, because then we can make use of new technologies. We've built as much as we could think of into the functionality of the system, but we're not going to think of everything, and we wanted to be able to address new requests as they come in, and having the architecture designed for the cloud allows us to do that. So that's what this picture is. And again, this presentation will be available to anyone that's joined the webinar, and you can get a copy of it and kind of peruse through at your convenience. So I'm going to just, let's see, we've got about 10 minutes left. I want to leave about 5 minutes for Q&A. We might run over a little bit. But Sound POS, I'm not going to go through all these slides. You'll get a copy of this. We've kind of been through Sound POS, but again, what it is a very simple, easy to use retail point of sale, cloud-based, has lots and lots of features and functions. There's a picture of an E700 there, the cash drawer. The circles on the bottom are all the different devices that we're currently supporting. And they're all PAX devices. And again, I've got information later in this slide on each of the ones. I'm not going to go through them, but you can look at them later. Then our cloud portal, which I'm going to show you a quick little demo, is again, you can access it from any browser-based device, and you can do everything you can do with a point of sale system, you can do through the cloud. Basically, looking at sales by device, by store, you can get alerts, you can set up your receipts, your inventory, you can manage multiple stores. Pretty much anything you can think of that you can do with a POS system, you can do from our cloud portal. And then just finally, we like to always kind of point out what the value prop is for our not only our resellers, but also the merchants. So the first step is really the ISO of the resellers. And again, we don't sell to merchants, we only sell through resellers, but the merchants use the system. So we need to point out things that are important for the merchant, the user, but also our customer, who is the reseller. And really the key things are listed here, but we designed it so that existing ISO sales forces can sell. You can sell a payment terminal, you can sell our point of sale system, and we have material and information to help you do that. It's a way to get more hardware, more revenue basically between the hardware and the services. And we give you a buy rate. You set your own price. You can sell the hardware. You can rent the hardware, whatever you want. You can white label the product. If you don't want to call it Sound POS, you can call it whatever you want. You can put your own logo on it. You can put the merchant's logo on it. A lot of good marketing tools with it. And, like anything, having a point of sale system, getting a point of sale system into your merchants, getting their inventory, get them all set up, that's a lot stickier than just dropping a payment terminal in. So it really protects your business. And if you don't do it, someone else will. So it's really important for the ISOs to start to offer these cloud, I'd say point of sale, but I'd say offering the cloud point of sale is even more important. And lastly, we're not a payment processor. We're not an ISO. We don't compete against you. And our solution, since we leverage the PAX certifications, we work with all the major processors. And then what do we got, Doug? Oh, sorry, I thought I heard Doug pop in.
No, you're good.
Okay. And then lastly, the value prop for the merchant is very simple to use, install. The setup is, we got days, not weeks. It's really hours. When it comes right down to it, we can get a merchant set up very quickly. The PAX footprints are very small. When you put the device, they got integrated printers, so you don't need a separate printer. They got, since they got the customer facing payment device all integrated, they're nice and small. You get everything right there. You put a cash drawer on it, you can connect a scanner to it, and basically you're up and running. And you can have mobile devices that are communicating together. So there's lots of ways to set the system up. And then, all the different features that really give these small merchants a very sophisticated point of sale system for very low cost. And that's, one of the keys of us is keeping that cost low. And then it's cloud-based, so they get all those benefits that I mentioned before that for a merchant are really attractive. So I'm going to, at this point, these are the hardware solutions. I'm not going to go through these. I'm going to actually switch over and just show you the, I'm going to go ahead and show you the cloud portal. So leave it on that screen and let me switch over here to my reseller port, the cloud portal. And first I'm going to, hopefully you can see that. Doug, I just want to check, can you see the?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to go ahead and log into there's two different views. We have a reseller view and a store view. They'll become apparent of why we have two views when I go in. So I'm going to log in as the reseller here. And as I log in, you're going to see that this reseller is Walsh and Murphy. So this is on our demo portal. So it's kind of set up ahead of time. But you can brand, your whatever you can put your image, your logo up there. And this is the initial screen, which is a dashboard, just kind of shows you some highlights of the stores. If I had resellers set up, would have the resellers here. And the way the hierarchy is, you can see on the left here, you've got your setup for your organization. So you can set up resellers and stores are really merchants. And then underneath are all really the point of sale specific. So whether you're whether it's a merchant view or store view, merchant/store view, or a reseller view, these device POS users are consistent. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the reseller stuff, and then I'm going to log in as a merchant or a store and show you kind of what a store would see. So, and again, I'm not going to go through too much detail. I'm just going to show you a quick overview, and if you want to get a further look at it. We can schedule that separately. But here's where you can set up resale. So, you know, yeah, there's a parent reseller, but resellers can set up sub resellers. So there's you can have a hierarchy of how you're set up, and then you can kind of manage everything. You can see what your resellers are doing. You can activate them, deactivate them. So it's really a nice tool for monitoring, your business. You can also set up stores or merchants. And here you can kind of see there's a couple different stores set up, and you can set up with parent stores and child stores. You can even log into the stores. I think if I look at this, you can look at the settings. So if I look at, this store happens to have cash discount off. It's got EBT off, so I don't have too much set up. Age verification, you can actually set up and for your products and employees for age verification. A lot of different things you can do. I'm going to show you most of these when I go on in the store view. But so this is kind of what the reseller would see. So now I want to show you, and this is all, again, this is all through the portal. Let me show you kind of what a store would see. Yeah, let's see, there's the store. I'll switch to this one. I'll just make sure that Doug did that switch.
Yep.
Okay. So now I'm going to log in as the store. And as you can see, the categories on the left are the same, except you don't see the resellers because they don't have access. They're not the reseller, they're actually the store. And if you notice up here, this one is, this store is, our demo is called Bad Wolf. We set up all of our demo stuff as Bad Wolf. I guess it's a play on a Doctor Who character. But you can see that, you can set up your merchants or your stores with their own logos. So it's kind of cool. And again, they have their own dashboard. They can see all their transactions. There's kind of different things you can see on the dashboard. They can set up multiple stores. This one only has one store, but you can set up, again, multiple stores same way, so that you can have one store, 10 stores, doesn't matter. They can all share the same back office, same the same merchant, so that he can move inventory, track sales across all of his locations. And then all of these little categories here are really focused on the point of sale. So you can go in and you can really run your whole store, set up your whole store right from the back office, right from the cloud. And that means you can set up your products. And here, here's a kind of bunch of products that we preloaded. You can see they get pictures and the product name, the SKU codes, prices, stores, all kinds of stuff. And you can edit them. You can add new ones, you can export them, you can import them. So you can actually bring in, if you've already got an inventory, we give you the format for importing it and you just import it in. You can set up categories so that you can have, groceries, travel. It's really unlimited the way you can set these up. You can add attributes to them. So if you got shirts, you can add color, sizes, very, very sophisticated, the things you can do with it. And low stock reports, you can have it alert you when the quantities are getting below a certain amount so that you can reorder. So a lot of nice little features there. Then you have your sales, where you can go in and you can look at all your transactions. Let's see, I don't think I run any transactions here. Yeah, I guess I ran a couple of transactions the other day. So you kind of can see them. You can view the transactions. I can go in. I can look at all the detail on the transactions. I can send a receipt, print the receipt. So really nice features that you can access, again, from anywhere. You can set up local gift cards. You can look at some of the analytics, bestsellers, products never purchased. Want to get rid of those. And then the rest of this is kind of your point of sale setup, the devices that you have. You can set those up, you can activate them, you can do employees, set up users, give them roles. Customer maintenance, you can set up customers on here so that as your customers come in, you can You can offer them discounts and track loyalty, lots of different things you can do there. As for pricing, you can set up, you pay in and pay out for the cash drawer, end of day batch configuration, your users. I'm not going to kind of go through all this because it is pretty detailed. And again, if you want to get an overview of this, we'd be happy to kind of walk you through it. But that's kind of just an overview of our cloud, what it looks like. And then, we also, there's the application that's running on the actual PAX device, our Android application, the Sound POS app. And I don't have time today to kind of walk you through that, but usually we would just bring that system up and remotely log in and then pull it up on the screen and can kind of show you what that looks like as well. Maybe normally we do that. We've got some videos on that. We can do that on a separate session. So I think it's, let's see, it's 11:33. We're probably a few minutes over. At this point, I'm going to ask Doug to kind of jump in and let me know if there's any questions that came up, and then also if you could open up the microphones, and if you haven't asked them through the chat, you can go ahead and ask them comments, anything you want to talk about.
Yeah, Walter, one question that's come up, and that is, who actually owns the data, customer data, and do I lose or do I can control what gets sent from a marketing perspective? So does Sound Payment, Sound POS send any marketing to my customer base?
So we don't send any marketing to the customer base. We don't use the data for marketing. It's really your data, the merchant's data. You can export it, so that you have the data with you. But there's nothing that we do with that data. It's really owned by the merchant.
And how easy is it to import data from one point of sale into Sound POS?
I guess you'll probably be a better one to answer that than me, but you've had more experience. But it kind of depends on the system. If we've done some imports from Clover systems, we have a template that's very easy to use. If they don't have any prior, then they've got to enter it in. They could fill out the template, or they can enter it in directly. You can enter it into the device, or you can enter it into the cloud, and really is your choice. But I guess, Doug, I'd probably ask you, you've been through it a few different times. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. As long as you can get, because we have an import template, as long as you can get the previous point of sale data, out in Excel, we can get it into our import template, which is Excel as well, and it's pretty easy from that perspective. So we actually really haven't had any issues with that. Another question that came from Stephen actually is, for PAX Store apps like employees, for employee clock in, clock out, etc., is that tied into Cloud POS, or is that separate?
So yeah, that's all tied in as part of Sound POS. So we do some basic reporting, time clock, where they can log in, log out. We keep track of that. They can keep track of hours. So and I say basic because it's not going to integrate into an ADP or anything like that. You can export the data, but we do a lot of the basic functions for that and keep track of everything, but it's all stored up in the cloud.
So a follow-up to that question. So are different, do we have other third-party apps that are integrated into a Sound POS, or are those separate apps that would stay on the actual PAX device? Yeah,
so what we've tried to do with Sound POS is, there's a couple different models, right, with these cloud and these Android kind of applications, and they've all been triggered by Apple in the App Store, and then Google Store, and the technology just allows multiple applications to reside on single devices and have access. So the PAX devices have that ability. You know, PAX Store does allow you to put apps up there, and we can leverage those apps. What we've tried to do is build the functionality into Sound POS so that it is all in one. And really that's because to make it easier for the merchants, right? They don't have to go figure out, well, I have to go to this vendor to get this app, and then I got to go to that vendor to get that app. We've concluded all the features. However, that doesn't mean that we won't open up. We are looking at adding APIs, and because we, you know, there are some really nice programs out there that we want to integrate to, and we will open up and add integrations into those. But right now, it's basically if you run another app on there from the PAX Store, it would run separate to Sound POS, but it would still run.
Got it.
All right.
At the moment, that's all the questions, Walter.
Okay. Well, I think we're pretty much at the end here. I want to thank everyone for taking the time. This is recorded, so we do keep these up on our website. And anyone that would like a copy of the presentation, just shoot us a note. If you have any questions you want to ask me or the team, just either shoot it, go up onto your SoundHub, log into your SoundHub, and you can place it there, or just send an email to me or anyone on my team. We'd be happy to answer. And I'm not sure what the subject is of next month's series, but again, if there's if anyone has input, what they'd like to hear, we're always open to addressing those items and issues and subjects that that our customers and partners have. So just let us know. And again, thanks everyone, and look forward to seeing you next month.
Thanks, Walter.
Thanks, Walter.